The Backward Day by Ruth Cross. Pictures by Mark Simont. A little boy woke up one morning and got out of bed. He said to himself, "Today is Backward Day." He put on his coat. Over his coat, he put on his suit. Over his suit, he put on his underwear. He explained to himself, "Backward Day is Backward Day." He put on his shoes. Over his shoes, he put on his socks. Then he turned his head backward as far as he could to see over his shoulder, and he walked backward out of his room and backward down the stairs. He walked backward into the breakfast room, backward past the place that was his place at the table and the chair that was his chair. He walked backward until he reached his father's place. He then turned his father's chair backward to the table and sat. He tucked his father's napkin in at the back of his collar. His father came into the breakfast room. "Good night, Pa," the little boy said to him. His father stood and looked at him. "Good night," he said. His mother came into the breakfast room. "Good night, Ma," the little boy said to her. His mother stood and looked at him. "Good night," she said. His baby sister came into the breakfast room. "Good night, baby," he said to her. His baby sister stood and looked at him. "Good night," she said. Then his father went to the place that was the little boy's place at the table. He turned the little boy's chair backward to the table and sat. He tied the little boy's napkin backward around his neck. His mother went to the place that was his baby sister's place at the table. She turned his baby sister's high chair backward to the table and sat. She tied his baby sister's bib backward around her neck. His baby sister went to the place that was their mother's place at the table. She pulled their mother's chair around backward to the table and sat. She pushed her mother's napkin in down the back of her dress. The little boy looked at his father. He looked at his mother. He looked at his baby sister. He said, "I'm so full I can't eat another thing." "Me too," his father said. "Me too," his mother said. "Me too," his baby sister said. The little boy pulled out his napkin from the back of his collar. "Time to go to bed," he said, and got up from the table. He turned his head backward so as far as he could to see over his shoulder and walked backward out of the breakfast room. Backward up the stairs he went, and backward into his room he went. Backward, oh, backward, oh, backward, oh, backward, oh, backward, and back again out of his clothes and back into bed. He yelled very loud from his bed to his father and his mother and his baby sister. "Today is Backward Day," he yelled again, explaining. "Backward Day is Backward Day." His father got up from the table. His mother got up from the table. His baby sister got up from the table. "Time to get up out of bed again," the little boy said to himself. He got out of bed again. He put on his underwear. Over his underwear, he put on his suit. He explained to himself, "When Backward Day is done, Backward day is done. Then he put on his socks and shoes and yelled, "Backward day is done!"